Hello and welcome back to the Thesideescape Gaming Podcast, episode 103. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. James, we talk a lot to Ted, and I'm tired of it. How are you?
We need to talk for Ted.
We need to talk for Ted. Exactly. How are you doing, James? You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It was a good gaming week. I feel like we had a good gaming weekend, you and I.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that later.
Aww.
Yeah, we played like 3 hours of Tiny Tina. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. We're going to be talking about Stray.
Yeah, which I beat.
But enough about you, James, because this is the 103rd episode of the Thesideescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Not really, though, because of Ted. Once a week, we Discord over 500 miles, talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. This week, we're reviewing Stray. James has beaten Stray. I've played about 4 hours of Stray, and I can't imagine
So you've beaten it as well.
This cat game is going to get any different than what's going on now. But before we talk about that, I played Street Fighter 6 at Comic-Con, and I wanted to talk to you about this. I played about 6 rounds of Street Fighter 6. They had
6 rounds of Street Fighter 6 at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, at 6 o'clock. It was 66 degrees outside in San Diego.
Wow.
All right, that's just rude.
That's believable.
And Satan was called upon.
Yeah.
So I played Street Fighter 6. I am not a Street Fighter expert. What I'm known
That means
for.
Zangief.
I whoop Ted's ass as Zangief all the time.
That's true.
All the time.
Literally once.
No, it was button mashing whooped.
It was once.
It was quite a win.
So did you ever play Street Fighter 5? We played 4.
We played 5 too, I think.
You played 5.
Did you play
played
5? Okay.
You play 5, yeah.
Yeah, what Eric had was 5.
Because Eric would grind out 5.
Yeah. So I've played Street Fighter enough to know what Street Fighter is, but not enough to really judge Street Fighter or to give you, this is why this one is better than this one.
I would say that you're the perfect market for what they need to go for.
Right.
I think so. I really enjoyed it. It moves pretty fast. It's fun. It's very easy to get what you're doing. You got a lot of triggers that doing kicks and heavy attacks now.
Were you using a controller?
Yes, so they had fight stick options and PS5 options. I played on PS5 because I didn't want to fuck with the fight stick.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful, and what I like about this game, opposed to Street Fighter 5, from what I remember Street Fighter 5 and it being kind of bland. Like the art of it is bland.
Yep.
It reminds me a lot of like how kind of Mortal Kombat, even though it has its own style, is kind of a bland looking thing. So does Street Fighter. This game has like paint being thrown across. You do like special moves and like paint comes out. And that looks really cool. It adds like something to this world that's going on. The paint comes out and now there's new colors on the field of play, and it actually adds a little bit of style to what I usually think is kind of a dull looking two macho men fighting each other.
Yeah.
I played as Ryu, and then the guy that I was playing with played as Chun-Li. Chun-Li's got kicks. Ryu's got Hadoukens, Hadoken, something like that. He's got that move. It was fun. It was good. I think what I played of it, I know this is not a great review because I don't know Street Fighter very well, but it is. I would be tempted to play this on my own accord by myself because of what I played. I had a good enough time to be like, probably wouldn't pay $60-$70 for Street Fighter 6, but if it was on sale for $20 or something, it's a game I'm like, yeah, okay, I had a good enough time with it. But I think people that like Street Fighter hopefully will like this game because it seemed like it played pretty well, and there was a lot more style to it than I think past Street Fighter games have had. So.
Yeah.
Ted, do you have questions? Because you like Street Fighter a lot.
I do like Street Fighter a lot, or I should say I did like Street Fighter a lot. I kind of fell off the bandwagon. Kind of like what you said of like, it's kind of bland. Which
Ted, what's the best looking Street Fighter in your opinion?
I mean, 3 is a beautiful pixel art game, but 4 has the best style. That makes sense.
Okay.
I like the 4 style.
I would say 3.
Yeah, 3 I like looks pixel art. Great.
Yes, it's bland, but it's also trying to be bland. It's kind of your intro to fighting games in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Also, conceptually, it's about two buff macho men fighting each other in the street. There isn't supposed to be a lot of like fatalities or extra arms and stuff like that. But honestly, the things that Street Fighter needs to keep going to build a new audience aren't really things that you could find out in a demo. Like they need better multiplayer, right? They need better tutorial tools. They need they need onboarding, stuff that you're not really going to get from a demo.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've played a demo and you thought it was refreshing, I think is a really solid sign, because playing 5, you were kind of just like, all right, this is
It has story.
exactly how I imagined it would be.
Like after our first round of three games, we were supposed to leave, and we ended up not. We just stayed on it and was like, let's just play another round, play another set of 3.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a good sign where we were like, this is actually fun enough to I want to play again. I bet I kick your ass again. Yeah. I think it was very easy to just kind of get into without trying to figure out the move set.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember Street Fighter being that way. I remember me just hitting the same button over and over again, rather than this one was like, oh, I get that this is a longer kick, and I get that. It felt a little smoother than what I remember, but I don't know. I could be very wrong.
Right. A lot of the things that I'm really kind of fingers crossed hoping for are things that we're not going to find out until 3 weeks after it launched, kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
Because they need a better multiplayer. I think most fighting games need a better system to keep you engaged than just click find new match button, play somebody you don't know. If their name's not in English, you're probably going to lose. Just that kind of stuff has gotten really old, and they need a better system. Who makes Guilty Gear? Is it System Arcs? SysArcs?
Arc Systems.
Arc Systems.
Systems. That seems right.
They do really neat, fun things where they kind of have a multiplayer lobby where you get to run around as a character and chat and find real people, kind of like an MMO.
DBZ
and,
did that, didn't they?
DBZ
that's the same studio.
That would make sense then.
Yeah, exactly. Just give me more systems to engage with the game, not just the matches.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to hear that you liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You said you won't pay $70 for it. I think this game needs to be free to play. I think they need the barrier to entry to play a fighting game needs to be as low as possible. And it's paying $70 to play Ryu again.
Yeah.
Free to play would be huge for this, but I don't know.
I don't think they're going to do it because Street Fighter is such a premium product for them. But I also genuinely think that they need a low barrier to entry if they're going to get new people, because fans are bored and new people are scared.
Yeah, Capcom, and I just read something recently that I think it might have been today, that Capcom's fiscal year was is significantly down from last year.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense. They had multiple bangers last year.
Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting. Yeah. So I'm curious, is it supposed to come out this year? There was no release date.
I don't.
There's no way. So. It's supposed to be an open world, and if they didn't demo any of that aspect of it,
that's right. No, it was just matches.
Yeah.
Okay. So next year.
That needs to be polished.
Yeah. Very interesting. Ted, since we're talking about game development, I want you to read me some article from Bloomberg.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I won't read the article word for word, but essentially, the remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR, which is being made by Aspire Media, has been nixed.
Put on hold.
Hold on there, horses.
Indefinitely.
Put on hold indefinitely while members of the team get fired.
Yeah, well, the what was the art director and the
lead game designer and the art director were both fired. Nobody officially commented, but I think one of them said on Twitter the dismissal was unannounced.
Unexpected and a book.
Unexpected. Yeah. It was a very professional way of saying I didn't know I was about to get fired.
Yeah.
What do you think was the cause?
Well, so essentially what happened is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
This came from Jason Schreier. He did a whole report over it on Bloomberg with digging.
Guy who does reports reported.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only one.
There's my
guy,
Jason Schreier.
The guy who does.
This game is a 2003 game remake. They're looking to remake it. Fans really like that.
Yeah.
They released a demo to, I believe, LucasArts and Sony, who had some kind of exclusive deal where this game would come to PlayStation first.
LucasArts doesn't exist anymore. It's Lucasfilm's game.
Oh, is it just Lucasfilm
games or something like that now?
Okay, whatever.
Which is so dumb.
Whatever, Disney.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Stop hiding. Anyway, apparently this demo presentation went so bad that both parties went away from this going no. And so the game was put on hold. 2 key members, the designer and the art director, were both fired. And officially, Aspire Media is looking to to continue the project elsewhere, which a lot of people think means they're trying to pass this off to somebody else.
And there was another company that recently got involved in the development of this game.
Embracer Group
One of
owns
theirs,
Aspire Media.
Got it.
Yeah, one of those like big
Mhm.
Kahuna companies got involved with Aspire, but they're indirectly linked to the development of this game.
Yeah. It's been in development for like 3 years. It was just announced last
Yeah.
year, but it's been in development since 2019.
So it's been in development since 2019. The rumors that are flying around are they put an unnecessarily high amount of money towards this demo, and so the rest of the game was being underfunded. That's a rumor. The other rumor is that LucasArts and Sony, somebody was expecting this to come out by the end of 2022, and then internally, an unnamed source said that this game was probably going to come out closer to 2025.
3 years off what the other people were expecting. That's wild.
Yeah, 3 years off what the money people thought was going to happen. So, if you like KOTOR,
play the old one.
play the old one.
I think just from those two firings, that tells me like during the demo it was either really buggy, which that's not surprising. That's something you expect in a demo. The God of War demo was awful from what we heard, but to fire the art director, I feel like everything must have been off for that.
Yeah.
Like, and how do you? I know they're putting it on hold, and then they're gonna try and like see what they can recover, like see what's the path forward. I think you have to scrap it at this point. To go back and fix everything that's wrong with it, especially if it's art, might just be more of a nightmare.
My thought process was that, and I believe I mentioned this to you guys. There's a huge difference between a remaster and a remake.
And that's all Aspire's done is like remaster stuff.
Yeah, well, so Aspire is known for doing ports. They do really good ports to mobile games, and to their credit, their ports of KOTOR to the phone is great.
Yeah,
it's a totally playable game on your phone. It's really cool. That being said, like if they came into this demo expecting a total remake like Resident Evil 2, where the game's just built from the ground up as a brand new thing, and they instead got the original clunky ass game from 2003 just with some shiny coat of paint, some light, I think, some ray tracing, I could see that going pretty horribly.
Yeah, could you imagine that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing KOTOR on my phone, and I laugh because I think it's a deeply flawed game in a lot of ways. But like, that game's old. You're a silent protagonist who clicks dialogue options and then people respond to you. There's no cinematography. There's no oomph. Yeah. And this game was supposed to be like a flagship, maybe not a flagship, but like a Sony exclusive to help sell PlayStation 5s.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a clunky game from 2003. That's not going to sell.
James, what were you going to say? Because I'm going to go to a Star Wars rant in a second.
So I was thinking like the group that's probably playing or reviewing this demo is just thinking about the money. And in terms of like, okay, we just wasted a bunch of fucking money to these goons who gave us the worst demo we probably ever played.
Yeah.
And they're probably expecting, okay, we want some like better mechanics, clean up some stuff, like make it just more playable. And that's what everyone else is expecting. Like, oh great, we're gonna get some like really like modern mechanics. And that's probably something this studio can't do.
Yeah.
No.
So
and
looks bad and it plays the same. Okay, then what the hell did we
I don't know.
for?
When I heard that this was being announced, I did not think they were gonna be adding like new mechanics or anything. And
they sold it as like the Final Fantasy 7ization of
right.
Oh, really?
That's what everyone was like, oh wow, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to play modern.
And they sold it as like they even said like modernized combat mechanics or something like that.
Oh,
like,
really? Okay.
They sold this as like
I guarantee all of that didn't work.
I mean, this is a game where like you select your attacks off of a menu and then your character just does them, and missing and hitting is totally based on the numbers.
It's such a great story and it's such a cool Star Wars adventure, and then the combat is like dreadfully boring.
Yeah, it's a lot
That's
of
what
just
needs to be cleaned.
Select power attack, and then you watch as your character does power attack.
Give it to Squeenix and have them do it.
Oh, right?
Slap
they'll fuck it up.
Blue Point.
No, they'll remake it.
Yeah.
But it'll be a different story about how Revan went back in time to alter the Mega Gaia sphere of Kashyyyk and, stuff like that.
Actually, now that James has said it, Square Enix does have a relationship with Disney.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Star Wars is going to be the next Kingdom Hearts game, so...
Oh, gosh.
Okay, never mind. Let's stay far away.
Yeah, well, and I genuinely think KOTOR is a very good introduction to what a BioWare game is, but like going back to it, it's pretty deeply flawed. I've said it before on this podcast. I made a character who was really good with blasters because I like the Mandalorian. And then you become a Jedi.
You have to
and
you
then
have to be a Jedi.
6 hours into the game, they're like, you have to become a Jedi.
Yeah,
you have to use a lightsaber.
No.
Yeah.
And my whole character build literally fell apart. It does not work. I became a high defense Jedi.
There's also like multiple places in that game where you can just get stuck, and you're screwed. My most recent save, I didn't like make multiple saves like an idiot, and I got stuck trying to get off of Terrace. Like fighting the last boss, I didn't have any health packs, so I was just like, well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you go in, the door shuts behind you, and you have nothing to do but fight that boss over and over again.
And I was like, this is not going to work.
And he has a lightsaber, and he can deflect blaster shots, which makes your blaster character useless.
Yeah, you can't be a blaster character, Ted.
It's really funny. I was like laughing, and I immediately put the game down after that.
Yeah, I was going to say my little Star Wars rant. I'm really interested with this game because they wanted it to come out this year. And there's a big theory from fans that the main bad guy of Fallen Order 2, or what is it called? Survivor, Jedi Survivor, is going to be Revan. Is somehow Revan, they've, cryos freezed him or whatever, and stasis, and he's been alive. But that this was going to be like the prequel to like Revan now being in the canon. Because they're bringing up, it's most likely Revan.
So KOTOR is technically not Star Wars canon.
Still not canon until it's remade or something.
Shot out of canon.
And so it's shot out of the canon. Yeah, Disney killed it all. That's when I had a great friend who read all these books, and he looked at me and he said, "I've wasted my life on Star Wars books." And I was like, "Damn, that's a tough feeling." When Disney cleaned the slate,
he could have cut off that sentence after or before books.
I wasted my
just
life.
as right.
No, that's what I've done. That's what I've done.
So yeah, in short, KOTOR remake not happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it anymore.
Probably.
Yeah,
Very bummed.
it's probably screwed.
Very bummed.
But this happens. Like in terms of studios that scrap projects, Blizzard being like number one probably, but it happens.
Yeah.
It's just if you let a game not properly be managed, this will happen. If you give a game director too much free rein,
I'll give Aspire the benefit of the doubt and say this is probably having to do with expectations of Disney and Sony, two giant companies, expecting giant things.
They also bit off more than they could chew, probably too, in that regard.
That's exactly what happens. Man. But I mean, it's one of the things to hide it and then like
that's weird for them to like reveal this at a Sony like big press conference, like for them to reveal this at one of their big press conferences, and it to just be like killed silently in the night.
Yeah, they made sure
that's
it
crazy.
Didn't get No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's wild, wild. All right, we're moving on to games we've played because we've played a lot of them, and we're going to talk a lot about a cat. But I'm going to you want to ask Dusk Falls before we go. Very quick update. I've played 5 of the 6 chapters.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Pretty close to beating it. How long are the chapters?
Anywhere between like 40 minutes to an hour and 20. They range. There's kind of very like.
Oh, it's a very quick game.
Yeah, it's like 6-7 hours. So I'm pretty close to being done with it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really surprised at how good the writing is in this game. This game kind of goes places.
About the art direction.
Well, that's fine. I don't love the freeze frame thing that they're doing, and
that's the one thing I hate.
And it's weird because like there's parts where, like you're in a car and the car is moving, but your character is still like this 2D freeze frame, but like the whole environment and everything is 3D, and it doesn't mesh very well. But the story and the writing are so much better than what the gameplay graphics are that you kind of forgive it. Like I'm still like I'm curious what's gonna happen because I got 1 chapter left and like. There's a lot of going on. Yeah. You also play as a lot more people than I expected, which I think is really cool. You kind of are led to believe it's 2 characters, and slowly over time, like more of the cast gets playable, and that I think is really fun. I do like this game better than the Telltale style of this kind of adventure. We talked about this last week, but I think cutting out those walking around and snooping sections of Wolf Among Us or Batman or something has like really improved what this experience is. I actually kind of want to try like Danganronpa and stuff because those are visual novels.
Oh, really? Oh, my buddy raves about Danganronpa. It's probably like one of the best games out there. If you're really like murder solving type of.
Are you familiar with this, Ted? You know what Danganronpa is? Danganronpa is a Japanese game. I think it's developed by Atlee, the people that do Persona.
I think that's right. Yep.
But it's a visual novel about a group of high schoolers at their high school that gets taken over by an evil demon teddy bear named Yamakuma or something. And
That's right.
he then forces them to kill each other. And as like one person dies, you then have like a meeting of like who is the killer, and you're trying to like figure out who the killer is before you're killed.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty good.
It's supposed to be very good. So I really am enjoying this style of game, and kind of like I ate my dinner and played it tonight and stuff. Like that's kind of cool.
Do you think this could be a game like an airplane game, like a game on your iPad, kind of a elongated movie almost, or like maybe like a before bed kind of a game?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing that a lot. Like in the morning, I'll get up and like my 40 minutes before work. Steam Deck game. Yeah, I think iPad would be perfect because you're just touching stuff.
Oh, iPad would be nice.
Yeah. But I actually really recommend it. Like it's on Game Pass. It's free. It's not very long. It is a little slow, but it's very well written and very intricate and kind of like what is going to happen here. So, really recommend it. I mean, I'm having a great time with it. I'll probably beat it. I've got one chapter left, so I'll kind of let you know how the ending holds up or not. But yeah, it's the hook of the game is just very intriguing and different, where you're playing both sides of this kind of situation. So, yeah, as Dusk Falls. Now, James, you played a lot of this cat game.
Yeah, it's not free.
It's not free.
$30.
People are loving this cat game.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about Stray. Now, go big.
Now let me really talk about this.
So you
game.
Beat it?
Yeah, I beat it. Completely beat it.
I played 5 hours. I think 4 or 5 hours is Stray.
Yeah,
so
I did the 6 hours just because I was like did a little catwalking.
Oh, so I'm like pretty close to the end.
Oh yeah, you're very close. It's probably 5 hours average. Okay. Just to reiterate, this game is a cat game. You play as a cat. And it's average at best, is what I'm gonna say. It's way overhyped. Why is it way overhyped?
You've turned around since Sunday.
Yeah, the ending sucked. But anyways, why does that's not like the only thing, but why is this game so appealing is because they did a really good job at making you feel like you're playing a cat. And they spent a fuck ton of time on their environment.
Yeah.
The environment, the sounds, beautiful. Incredible.
You're playing this on PS5?
No, I'm playing on PC.
I'm playing on PS5.
Yeah. The only issue here is that it's missing a good story and gameplay. So they max out their stats in the environment. Story gameplay kind of like going hand in hand, I feel. It has this on-rails approach to the game, which I think is fine, because it's basically making it so it's not like a burden. So if you want to jump somewhere, it usually gives you like an A prompt to jump there. If you want to like look for something, you just look around and then hit Y on something. I'm playing on
Xbox.
It sounds like it feels very linear.
It is so linear.
Yeah. So that's the issue that I have with it, is that you're playing as a cat and it's incredibly linear in that it tells you, hey, you go here to grab this and you put this here, and you go here and you grab this and you do this here, and then that unlocks this. And it's not like, okay, well, why can't I just like go around and like figure out like what these people want and just like get to know the town or something, or get to know this area. So yeah, that the linearity is bad, and it being on rails reduces a lot of the freedom. But that being said, the animations to jump up on things or to like go out of things or to walk around is like so crisp. Like I've never felt like a cat game like this would be so cat-like. You feel like you're playing as a cat. One thing that I think is really jarring is that there's these robots in this world, and they're basically it's the world. The backstory, I guess.
Yeah. So the general concept.
Like you're a cat. we know this, but you fall down into this underground as a cat. You're jumping around with other cat friends, and you fall down. And it's really sad.
It's very
sad. It's sad as fuck.
I got very sad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Sad,
but sad. So you drop down into this underground, and it's basically like kind of like a locked off underground human kind of dystopian
They talk
thing,
about it very early on. Yeah, it's like a domed city that they built because the environment's so harsh.
Right. It was basically you couldn't live above, and so they built this gigantic iron city or like concrete city, and just encased themselves in it. And then they also had robots. But then eventually, head crabs, literally head crabs, which that is another jarring thing. Like, why use the exact model for a head crab as your enemy? And literally, like, it is head crabs. They call them like zergs, I think, or something like that. Zerks. That's what. Yeah. And I guess they like basically like destroyed all the humans, and so the robots survived. But then eventually the zergs started consuming metal, so then the robots had to hide. It's a it's a weird story, but anyways, so you're doing all these quests, and there's like these little like sub towns and towns, and these guys are like, hey, I'm trying to find some friends, and I want you to go help them. And you're just a cat, but it's like you're a cat with some intelligence, I guess.
Okay, this is my big thing in this game. You are the cat. You are the cat. Okay, right? The player is the cat because you get a robot eventually that can talk to people.
Yeah, B12.
B12, and he sits on your back, and it's very cute. You are the cat. Yet you can understand everyone's English perfectly, where they're able to tell you what to do.
Yeah, that's the thing, and then it's also like you basically are saving them, and it's just like, why the fuck is this cat saving them? Like, why does this cat care? Like, why does this cat care about anything? Like, why does this cat just?
It's just so weird.
Yeah, that is a
the way you describe it. It sounds like a really fun, cool, not demo, but like concept idea of like, what if we made a cat, and then they had to build something around it.
Yeah,
because something about it being on rails, and I mean, I'm maybe, no offense to James, but maybe he like totally missed the mark, and there's some epic symbolism that we're all missing. But like, if there's not, then it sounds like they just like filled in a whole bunch of gaps to kind of make this cat concept work a little better.
There's no symbolism because usually, like, let's say I'm gonna compare it to a game like Obsu or like one of those games or Journey that just like lets the world like tell the story and let you like try and discover everything. This game has text boxes everywhere. This game so literally like has to tell you exactly what the heck is going on, and it doesn't let you discover anything. It tells you exactly what's going on. So to be like forced to like, yes, this is what's happening. This is what I need to do. Oh, this was me. Oh, woe is me. Oh, it's just. Why can't I explore as a cat to figure out the story and put the pieces together? Why are you telling this in a weird, jarring text box?
That was something you mentioned last week, was that the game is very handholdy. And it like is extremely unholy too, but there's a part in the game later where you have to distract someone to steal something, and you have to like use a boombox to like play a different type of music. But the game,
you're so close to the end.
Okay, I'm like right there then, The game is so linear handhold nature that I didn't know that I could do that. That I didn't know that I could go interact with something that I have not been told that I can interact with. And that I think is a really weird problem for a game to have, where I'm like, oh, I can find a tape laying around and use it in the boombox, because every time now this robot tells me exactly what I need to go do.
Yeah.
He's always like, hey, you need to go here and get this and get that, and then we're free. You're like,
hey, you know the store sells this weird thing. It's just like, why are you bringing this up? I didn't.
Yeah. So that I think is a problem. That being said, James, to reiterate what you said, man, does this game feel like a cat? And when you feel like a cat playing it, and it's fun, and you walk around and like hit off little things on a shelf is hilarious.
Yeah.
Tripping people when you walk through the robot city. It's also gorgeous, and the environments are really detailed.
I was like, it's very gorgeous, like just beautiful.
Yeah.
I almost want you to play the end because it's so bad.
I will. I'm gonna beat it. Okay, it's so bad. I'll beat it
so we can talk about
it tomorrow.
Yeah. You're right there. It's like literally the next step, but it's
okay. Yeah,
it's an overhyped cat game. Like it does not deserve any of these 9 out of 10s. It doesn't deserve 10 out of 10s. It's just what I've been bringing up all the time. It's the perfect time to release a game, and they hit the mark perfectly. This is the exact time where people needed something to play. It came out. It's quirky. It's fun. You play as a cat. People love cats.
I would say this is
selling
a market that does not usually buy into.
It's where an average game can
games,
thrive.
If that makes sense.
An average game can thrive in this market. That's what I'll say. And this is it. An average game.
Yeah.
I know. I'm playing a visual novel.
We'll forget about this in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll probably just talk about it.
Yeah. I to give it credit where it's due, is the environments, man, are just crazy. The
I just wish there was more to do it.
That's the problem. So Ted, they have the very linear levels of like almost like cat parkour, and those are, I think, when the game is at its strongest. Is like the cat jumping around and you having to move around and figure stuff out, like environmentally where to jump. That's the biggest like puzzle to figure out in this game. But then there are these like hub worlds. There's like 3 or 4 of them that are like towns, like little hub towns, where you can like meet a bunch of robot men. and I guess maybe robot women, but it's pretty male dominant in this robot society.
Yeah, actually, I don't recall any women.
I don't think there's I think there's one, because one of the ladies.
Oh, the grandma. Grandma.
Yeah. But then you get like people are like, man, I really wish I could see the stars in person or something. So it's like you can go find an item for this guy that like has stars on it, so you can see the stars, and then he's like, thanks, cat. So that's like that's all you can do in these open world sections.
But it doesn't matter. Like
No.
you could like do all that stuff, and it's just like, okay, I got nothing for that. I went out and found out all these tapes for you.
So that's like what you can do, and then you can go on these linear sections, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So that I think is where the game, it needed something, or it needed to be an open world game, and you going from point A to point B in this open world and figuring stuff out. But
I think with a really strong story, this would have been just fine. But it really just did not grasp me whatsoever.
yeah,
And maybe it for others it did, but
yeah,
I think this is a game about being a cat, like the novelty of playing as a cat, and I don't think it doesn't sound like there's anything deeper than that.
no, 35, 40 minutes, you're like, all right, I get what this game's about.
yeah.
Yeah. I was never once compelled to go back and play Stray. Like the 3 sessions I've played so far, I'm like, the final 2 I was like, okay, like, let's play more Stray.
That's what I was like. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna beat it this time, and that's it. And then the ending was so bad, I was just like, all right, uninstalled.
Uninstall. I'm excited to play the ending now. I'm actually more excited to play it since it's bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like trying to be really poetic.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess it tries, but
Dude,
it's just
okay.
like, why end it like this?
Oh, I love it. The cat's pregnant. Bunch of strays. Sequel. Strays.
Strays. That'd be perfect. Multiplayer.
Or too many strays.
A co-op game. If this was co-op, it would have made it 10 out of 10. That's what I'll say.
All right, 2 cats walking around.
And harder puzzles, not these like really simple things. Like Christ.
Yeah, maybe, and they're gonna make a lot of money in this game, so maybe they come back and Stray 2 or whatever is greatly improved.
Which I'm fine. Like I think it definitely deserves the money because it's poured all into the environment for sure. But
yeah, it's beautiful looking.
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's like Dear Esther. Like it's a walking simulator almost, or cat walking simulator.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's all I have to say about that. Any other final thoughts?
Not particularly. I do think it's a game that will be getting, like you said, a lot of hype because of when it's coming out, but it's not deserving of much of it.
Yeah, it's not Elden Ring.
It's no Elden Ring. It's like not even close. Yeah, so I really don't have much to say. I'm very disappointed by Stray and very underwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah,
it was overhyped for me, so that.
Yeah, I think the reviews really screwed that opinion up, but
right.
Yeah, I mean it's not. It will not
IGN
be
I
on my
think called
top
it
10.
perfectly though. IGN like did give it a fair review. Like I think it was almost like an 8 out of 10 or something.
I think
like,
so.
But
Yeah, fairer than
fair.
most. Yeah. Ted, do you have any questions about Stray? I know you were going to play it, right? You bought it?
I basically got cold feet because of the PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah.
I have to go get my PlayStation 4. It's not here with me. And I was reading reviews, these 9s out of 10s. People are like the graphics, and I was like, well,
that doesn't make it.
I'm not going to get the graphics.
The graphics.
And if I'm not going to get the graphics, I don't really want to play kind of a linear.
Yeah.
It kind of just. That's just kind of where I fell flat on it, if you will.
Yeah.
I might pick it up. I might, if I get that, maybe to try out that PlayStation Plus service and just like spend $15 and give it, like you said, it's 40 minutes.
I forgot about that. Yeah. That's worth it right there.
Yeah. My question going into this was like, do you think this was a great start to their games on PS Plus?
I think so, because I think it got a lot of people to sign up, and then people went, and a lot of people maybe were like us and been like, oh, not for me. What else is on this? Because I fucking paid for it.
Yeah.
And then you fall in love with something else.
Yeah, right. I guess a strong selling point of these subscription services is you only have to give a game 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we suck and our opinions suck. You know?
Maybe.
Maybe there's something we don't know about this game
that's definitely not true.
Right.
We're never wrong, James.
We're professional.
Exactly.
Professionals. Ted gets paid $4 a year for this podcast. All right, and it's pretty great. I owe him $8, but it's pretty great.
Yeah. It's like I need to get some back pay.
Wait, Ted's getting paid?
James, you and I own it, so we can't make money off of it.
All right.
That's how YouTube works.
That's how
non-profit tax write-off.
Yeah, that's what you do, right? This is your charity to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that and the Abel's Gamer donation we make every year.
Yeah, I volunteer on the Side Escape Gaming podcast.
I volunteer. This kid needs it. This kid Jake.
Look at his hat. He really needs it.
What a dweeb! James,
Speaking of dweebs,
let's talk about Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Jake, what the hell is Tiny Tina's Wonderland?
All right. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. First off, hold on. My joke's not gonna be funny now. I tried to pay Ted $4 and it took too long on Venmo. So Ted, you're not getting $4.
that's okay.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland is the new Borderlands game, not to be confused with the Tiny Tina's Assault that James did accidentally download instead of Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and we had to wait for him to re-download it.
That's the DLC that you downloaded?
DLC from Borderlands 2. So we're sitting in the lobby, and he's like, wow, this is really not working. We're reading online, and then James goes, I thought this game didn't look very good. I downloaded the DLC from 10 years ago.
It looked like Borderlands 2, but honestly, all the Borderlands menus look good. And then I looked at the video, and it's medieval, and I'm like, wait, this doesn't look like my game. What happened here? Did they update it?
Yeah, so Tiny Tina's Wonderland is the spin-off of Borderlands that is more medieval themed. It's
D&D.
Very based on D&D. You literally make a character sheet when you're making your character.
Amazing.
And the concept of the game is that you are playing Tiny Tina's a side character. She's this little girl that's fucking crazy and just loves to blow.
She's your DM.
And she's your DM. And the game is actually being played like a Dungeons and Dragons game, and you'll keep popping back out and seeing the table. The voice cast is very cool. Will Arnett plays the villain. He plays the demon lord or whatever. Then you have Andy Samberg as your other companion on your quest, and Wanda Sykes is the other companion. And they're just great. I mean, Will Arnett as the bad guy is so wonderful. It's got that Borderlands humor of just being fucking utterly ridiculous. There's the butt stallion that is the ruler of all the land. And the butt stallion, you're constantly following the butt stallion and her magic hoofs. And then it's got the Borderlands style, and it's got a lot more focus on melee this time, which is really cool. Your main weapon slot is a melee slot, and you're constantly finding that. But then it's just Borderlands, you're finding a shitload of guns.
To me, it looks a little bit. It's not exactly the Borderlands style. It's just looks better. It plays better. It almost reminds me of a little bit less than Warhammer Vermintide. I don't know if you played that, Ted, but it's that aspect because you get melee weapons.
Right.
You get these medieval type of guns, not true guns. They're still guns, but all the gunsmiths, like Jacobs and all those from Hyperion, they're all medieval
companies.
Yeah, they're fake. Yeah. They're fake, like Black Smoke or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just
really
funny.
Ted, my assault rifle shoots crossbow bolts.
Okay.
That's what I'm shooting, which I think is really fun. Yeah.
And then there's also magic now, so you can have gun in one hand, and then you can have offhand magic that it goes on a cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That to me is one of the best things that they've added. And then there's armor. It's just leaps and bounds better than Borderlands 3, as Jake and I were talking about. I just the beginning of Borderlands 3 was so slow. This game right away I was gripped by the cast and the enemies too. The enemies are pretty great.
Yeah. It's a lot more engaging thus far than 3 was. We've played 3-4 hours, James? Probably 3 hours.
Probably around that, yeah.
Yeah. And it's been just way more engaging. I like with James and I's class, every class has a pet this time, one of a little companion pet that follows you around, so you're fighting with that. And I'm really enjoying the style of it, and having Tiny Tina as the narrator is very funny. And just kind of where it's going to go from where we stopped at a pretty pivotal moment. And I'm excited now to see what the game does as it opens up. I think we're right there at where it's going to open up.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, Ted, it has an open hub world where all of these worlds that you go to are hubs, but the map that you walk around in looks like For the King. So it's
nice.
characters of you, and you walk from these different points, and then random encounters will come out and attack you, and then it puts you in a battle arena, and then you. So it's kind of cool.
You fight.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's very very much like that. Also, Tiny Tina can interact with the world. So sometimes there'll be something coming up, hey, there's no bridge here. It's roll for bridge, or just a bridge will come. A bridge appears. It's just it's really
just the DM kind of making shit up as
they go. Exactly.
Yeah. To go off of that point, I'm not that I'm assuming that this should be in the game, but do they do anything new in the Borderlands gameplay, or is it still a looter shooter? Except this time we have an open world. It sounds like what I'm getting at is in a D&D game, there's a lot of player agency. You can decide to go here or decide to go there or fight the bartender. Is there any of that, or is this still very much just a Borderlands game?
It is more Borderlands game than something
Dungeon,
different.
then tabletop role playing game.
It's a Borderlands game that has a paint of code over it that's Dungeons and Dragons, and they're nailing it. I think the way that the open world works differently. Like Borderlands 3 was an open world game. You could walk around like the open world, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And same with Borderlands 2.
You still had the hub ship, but
yeah, you could transport different places, and you had a hub ship, in Borderlands. Oh, that's right. Borderlands 3, you go to planets. Yeah.
Yeah, and but Borderlands 3 is definitely like huge. Like you walk across the whole planet. This one's more like, I don't know. We kind of just got to like the hub area, so maybe it will be like
maybe
that.
It will be, but we've already walked around that open world map, and I think that enough adds to the role playing aspect of it, of like random encounters and like finding a village that you like never been to and you don't need to go there yet. I think that adds to it and makes it feel more like a board game a little bit.
Yeah.
Than like,
but it's not deviating too far from what
it's a looter shooter through and through, but you can also melee and have a spell book. Yeah. Right. And it's medieval themed, and that's fun. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
And the jokes, I don't know, it feels Borderlands humor-esque, but a notch up just with the voice cast.
In line with what Borderlands does. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, it's still going to talk about poop jokes and butts and, farts, but it's nailing the poop and fart jokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
As it should. As I would hope. Yeah.
Exactly. James, any final thoughts on Tiny Tina? I know you and I will probably do a bigger thing on it when we finish it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. I definitely know it's going to be a journey, but I'm having such a blast with it.
Oh, yeah. Like we're about to do in like 5-10 minutes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Ted, any final thoughts on the show? Anything else you want to say? You seem like you got something else to say.
I don't. It's been kind of a slow video games week for me. Busy month, but slow video games.
Slow video game summer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that Borderlands is staying afloat, I guess is the best way to describe it. Because like I actually was not too interested by 2. I was really not interested by 3. I was more interested by the pre-sequel, if you can believe that.
Oh my god, that's the worst
one.
I
enjoyed that one like more than 2 and 3.
So bad.
2 is so good.
I don't know. It's not. I mean, like
so
it's not any worse than the other ones. But
Handsome Jack is one of the great video game characters.
Oh yeah, for sure. But to hear that they're kind of keep turning the ship away from where Borderlands 3 had it headed, because I know a lot of people did not kind of bounced off of 3 just with humor and with what Borderlands is.
Yeah.
And honestly with what Gearbox is.
Also 3 released very weird, in terms of like Epic exclusive and all this stuff.
Right.
It just it didn't have as much hype, I feel like, as it usually does. This game right off the bat, I think it was getting good reviews.
It was funny for me because Borderlands for me in my friend groups has been like they all love the loot aspect, but hate the Borderlands aspect, which is hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
Because nobody's there for the story. No one's laughing at the jokes. They're just there for those hot guns.
Those hot guns.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm glad that this paid off, and I hope it kind of gets the ball rolling.
I hope so too.
It's one of those things where I think I would hopefully like to pick it up on a sale for me, kind of give it a
so
check
far.
around.
I think you would really like it because of that D&D.
It was on sale. That's why we picked it up.
It wasn't a huge sale though. We still paid like $50 for it.
Yeah. It's good for a new game.
Oh, absolutely.
Also,
$50 is right for this game.
Crossplay, right?
Yeah.
Crossplay
works super easy. I'm playing on PS5.
First Borderlands with crossplay.
No, 3 had crossplay.
3 had it.
Oh, did 3 have crossplay?
Shift, yeah, Shift got rolled out with 3.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's their service.
Well,
yeah. What's Shift?
That's their like all encompassing, like to bridge all the consoles.
Oh, really?
Okay. Gearbox
so
service,
you get a Shift ID. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how it has to work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm eager to play more Borderlands. So on that note, thank you so much for watching the 103rd episode of the Sideescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James. And we will see you next week.